Hello, this next video about the viewing question game analysis. This is a game, interesting game, a story about how a rising chess star is playing against a PhD that has a higher rating. He's playing well as well, and he's able to overcome the fact that he was losing the game and also able to win the game and overcome. So let's take a look at this game. So E4 was played by the PhD player. Then e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop e5 is a normal Roy Lopez that has been played from the dawn of time, the 19th century and beyond, and this is a typical way to play at every level. Then the right star played a6, bishop a4, knight f6, and then instead of defending against the pawn or knight, queen e2 was a choice by the PhD guy. So defend the queen is there's a couple books I read a long time ago that queen e2 is a preferred way to defend the pawn. So this is not bad. It's really, let's say, a sideline. d6 and it's normal solid things. Besides bishop c5 is fine to avoid tactics, but d6 is fine. d3, bishop e7, and the plans to castle. But now what defends against bishop e4 are pins. That's probably a good idea. So when I read the book about queen e2, h3 is a normal move to accompany this queen e2. So a6, the rising star, try to do the same thing. There's no bishop e5. You have to do something else. So let b2, he wants to go to f1 to g3. This is a plan, typical Roy Lopez moving plan. The knight goes from b1 to g3 at the end of the day, and having some fun on the king side. Castles for black, and now c3, solidifying the control of d4. So b5 happened, and now this is where the PhD player played a mistake. He played bishop e3, but what should have done, he should have played bishop e2, because the only reason why it's better, because what happened in the game, he played bishop e3, knight a5 was played by black, and then bishop e2, and now black's turn again. This is the really worst version compared to bishop e2 right now, and white has a good solid edge still, but this one is not so much. This one is actually more to the equal size. So black played the really considerable move of c5. That's allowed from white. c5 is a good reply. Now f1, continue the plan to go into f3. Now the rising star played rook e8, trying to do bishop f8 and have this alignment of the rook to the king and queen. This is a really good idea. So white did, he played knight g3, just continue the plan. Just stay with the plan. Basically, a bad plan is better than no plan, so his plan was to have the knight g3 and having this knight be effective on the king side. So bishop f8, sticking with his plan to align with the king and queen. So the PhD player says, I want to get my king out of the way of the ray of the rook. So that's a good idea. Bishop e7 was played. Also d5 is a move, but bishop e7 is fine. The bishop is equal still. Bishop e2, rook c8 is fine. a4, trying to strike in this way to b5 is always a concern for black. And now c4, saying to blunt this array of the queen and maybe have some effectiveness on the center. But the PhD player, he played d4, bypassing the c pawn. So taking d4 was played by the rising star, took back with knight, and this one leads to attack on the b pawn and b5 twice. The pawn in a4 and knight in b5 are ready to take the pawn. So this is where the rising star made a crucial mistake. He played knight c6, not knowing, maybe not considering that the pawn on this one, b5 square, is really compromising. White is actually having a good clear advantage. So, but the PhD player did not take advantage of it. He played bishop e3. But still, again, the rising star didn't think about anything. He played d5, saying that I want to concentrate this firepower on this queen line with the rook. But then the PhD, again, didn't oblige to take a b5. He played rook fd1. Now, the rising star said, okay, I want to quit queen c7. This is, again, a major mistake. He should have taken b5. And actually, this time he did take a b5. Better late than never, I'll say. because knight to c4 was played by the rising star, and try to say that, okay, I can take this pawn after I take this knight off the board so I can be safe. But now the bad thing is the rising star forgot about the king on the G square is compromised to be really attacked because of bishop d4 attacking this at f6. So surely you get the pawn back on b5, but now the king has really no good shelter. Pawn takes f6, now queen g4 check was really good from the white player. King h8, let's say if the PSD player took a d5 because he can. He wants to unleash the bishop's power of this diagonal. This is a good idea. Rook e5, but now f4 was a great move by white. So let's say the rising star tried to be playing fast c, bishop c5, in between move, a Zwischenzug. Zwischenzug in their masso, in between moves, whichever language you also want to say. This bishop c5 move is not moving the rook right away, but we'll check him, then move the rook. So you could say that is a good move, bad move. I think it's okay. It's okay. King h2 was played by the PSD player, and now rook g8. Again, another intermezzo in between move, attacking the queen. But now the PSD player had a chance to totally win the game. It's totally winning if he played the right way, but he did not. He should have played the move queen to h4, saying that I want to take your pawn, check, fork, and also take this pawn also is a threat. Try to do checkmate in 2 with a bishop's help on c2. But what the PSD actually did was basically definitely a bad move. A queen f3 allows black to enter in with rook to a3. Rook to e3 is tagging the queen. The queen has to move again, and black's turn to attack. So queen h5. Seemed too late that he has to do the queen to h5. But this is really a worse version because the rising star found the correct antidote of this attack by doing queen takes f4 to defend the pawn backwards and also tagging this knight 3 times. 2 rooks and a queen are too much. And basically, the PSD high-rated player actually lost the circuit because he played king h1, getting out of this pin, by losing the knight in the process. Rook g takes g3 is a really good move because intentions will be devastating it later on. So the PSD took the pawn at f7 like a greedy guy, and he's going to lose the game because people that are Gotham chess fans are love this move because rook takes h3, sacrificing the rook. It's actually the winning move. So the high-rated PSG player took this one, and now queen f3, check, and white resigns. This is basically a devastating game, and the game is nowhere to be playing for white, and actually white is losing by force. And the high-rated guy recognizes there's no way to escape. If they go king h2, then rook e2 is checkmate because the bishop is blocking the c1 square. The queen and the rook are guarding the other squares. That'll be checkmate. So let's say if they go king g1, where do we checkmate in 2 moves? So white to back to move rather and checkmate in 2. So the move is this square whip d3 check to block this rook from interfering on d4. So the king has to move. So the only square to king to move is king h2. Now we do the move to win the game, which queen takes h3 with the rook guarding it, and the bishop going g1. Therefore, nothing left to be said, and the game is won by the uprising star against this high-rated PSD really big smart player. And he was able to use tenacity and actually stick with the game, don't resign until the game is actually over, and able to swindle this opponent that's high rated, very much book smart. Being a PhD is not easy, and also he was able to find a way to go after the king and to win the game. So one thing to take away from this one is that if you have some weaknesses, don't compromise your king. Don't ever compromise your king. This game, we have this opportunity that you got the pawn, sure, but your king was basically dying in the process. It's basically no pause worth having your king die for it. Think about the comparison. Have a pawn or have your king safe. I'd rather take the latter every single day of the week. But you took the pawn, but your king is devastatingly lost, because if you found the right move of queen h4, this one will be game over. There's nothing left to be said. There's no way to defend things, because the bishop c2 is guarding against rook g6 things, and this is really bad. But also earlier, you want to just basically take every threat seriously, especially if you're playing against a high-rated player. Taking into account, take a stock every single threat they make, especially if they do this one. Take this one seriously. Address it right now. Don't be lazy. Defend yourself and make sure that you don't make your bad position worse. So I'll see you next video.
Hey, check this video out to make sure that you get more important information to bring your chess to the next level.